Welcome to Sunnybrook Smart Learning. Be smart, be fun. Learning is smart. Learning is fun. For our episode today, Sleep and the Brain, my guests are Angela, Jap, and Erickson. How many hours do you sleep each day? Guilty na, no? Angela.
I think I always sleep about 6 to 7 hours.
6 to 7?
Yeah.
Ang haba daw. Jap, why?
Parang 4 to 5 hours.
4 to 5 hours?
Yes po.
And Erickson?
6 to 7 hours also.
6 to 7. So from 4 to 7 hours. Do you think that number of hours is enough ba?
No.
No.
No? Is that healthy or not? You can manage.
It's
It's
hard.
hard.
It's hard.
It's hard. By what time are you feeling drowsiness?
I think I'm sleepy around 10 to 12 already in the morning. So,
Really?
if I
In the
sleep
morning?
late,
What time do you wake up?
I need to wake up by around 8 o'clock.
So by 10, you are already sleepy?
Yes, in terms of, so I really need to have a good number of sleep.
Why do you think people lack sleep? Oo. What are the reasons people don't sleep enough? Job like you. Why don't you
Because,
sleep enough?
I wake up at 4 a.m. po because my work is 6. And I live po far from school. So I need to dress up pa. Parang my travel time is 1 hour. Tapos I have class po in UP, 5:30 to 8:30. So that's ano po. As when I
So when you go home, it's
When
already...
It's around 10:30, something like that po. Tapos, I'll eat pa po, dinner. Sometimes my dinner po is 10:30 na. Opo, when I got home na po. Tapos sometimes I will make po requirements pa. So I will sleep by 12, ganyan po. Tapos I will wake up ulit po by 4 a.m.
Yeah, wow.
So
It's a very hectic day, no? Yeah, because
That's
of
for
the
Wednesday
commute. Because of the
Yes.
commute,
Yes, po.
you have to have so your workplace is very far from your
Yes po,
house.
1 hour travel time po.
Just a travel.
Opo.
How about you, Angela? Do you-
Well, I sleep late also because of there's a lot of things to do.
Too
at
much
work
work?
in school.
Is it too much work or too much social media?
Some I think.
For many of you.
Yes. For many of the, especially in the current generation, I think time gets displaced to, well, there's traffic also, there's transportation, so time gets displaced, gets wasted when you spend so much time on the road. And then, of course, social media engagement is kind of a trending activity in our society.
So you are adding more work to your work pa?
Yes.
Yeah, that's... how many hours do you spend on social media, for example?
Ako po, I just downloaded po an app that will measure how
That's right.
long,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Parang po my average is around 6 hours.
6
A
hours?
day. Pero pong in between po kasi, for example, I'm at work. If I have, for example, time, parang vacant time, I browse po.
But 6 hours is taking your toll in your brain din, di ba?
Yes
Masyadong daming
Pero kung-
concerns. Oo.
When I'm in jeepneys po, I also check my social media accounts.
Right.
Tapos before I sleep.
Yeah.
Oo.
Tapos minsan pag napasarap ka pa, parang you extend pa. Kaya.
Oo. And you watch movie pa.
Yes.
ganyan, Netflix. Yeah, so you think sleep is not that important? Many people have the same idea,
Thinking.
no? And it is harming our brain. Oo. Lack of sleep. You cannot see it yet because you're young.
Yeah.
We are young pa. But when you get to a certain age, there's a correlation between lack of sleep and dementia. That's something that we have to understand. No? How much sleep do children and adults need? People usually feel that children need more sleep. If you look at this chart that I have for you, the newborns from 0 to 3 months need 14 to 7 hours each day. Can you remember that time, Papa? You cannot remember. Yeah, 14 to 17 hours of sleep. They are mostly sleeping, di ba? The 0 to 3 months. For the infants, from 4 to 11 months, that's 12 to 15 hours. You see? I can remember my children sleeping that long. As toddlers, they need 11 to 14 hours. Yeah, so they should not be going to school too early because they need that long hours of sleep, no? Preschoolers, 3 to 5 years of age, need 10 to 13 hours. So sometimes children are left at the school to wait for the parents, di ba? Or to pick up. Will have already affected their sleep hours. School-age children, the basic ed, 6 to 13 years of age would need 9 to 11 hours. I'd like to be at that time, no? And teenagers, teenagers from 14 to 17 years of age need 8 to 10 hours. You see, we always remember that 8 hours, no? Because it's we are still growing at that age. Adults, look at that, from 18 to 64 years of age, included tayo dyan, 7 to 9 hours. It's a medical advice here. This is from medical news. Older adults over 65 years of age, that's when they need less sleep na, 7 to 8. But even less means 7.
That's the least.
So you see, 7 to 17 hours, the youngest. So in that score, most of you fail.
Correct.
Even when I travel, when I have jet lag, I have to make myself sleep then that long. Otherwise, I want to function well. Parang masyadong drowsy na ano. And you're not enjoying it.
Yes.
When you're sleepy, you're not enjoying anything.
Yes.
And you see, why people don't get enough sleep. People take sleep for granted. Like, I can do it naman.
Some other
You
time.
can do it now because you're young and so on. And you think you can manage. But actually, your functioning is not optimal na. You just get by. Baka, now, let me ask you, no? Di ba when you were students, preparing for examination, did you make sure that you have enough sleep before you go to the examination?
Yes. You have to clear your mind the day before the exam. So no more
study.
Yeah, no more thinking tasks hours before the exam, and then complete sleep for good condition.
Kasi it's very important. You should not be cramming. And because I hear many students, they cram until the morning and they go straight to the, to the classroom. And it's really bad. And throughout the whole time, you're feeling very drowsy, di ba?
Yes.
So they take sleep for granted. They are addicted to internet and social media. They are stressed from overwork, like a job. And then there's a work shift. Imagine if you're working the night shift.
Yes.
Because I teach until 8:30. That's why I have to wake up later. Because I work until very late, di ba? So yung work shift and demanding job would cause people to not get enough sleep. Too much caffeine then. What time is your cut off for coffee?
Before class.
Before class.
The whole time?
I don't know. I have my coffee before my MA class. Pero not all the time.
That's 5:30 or
That
2:30?
before, yes, before 5:30. So that I
That's
can
the
have...
last na.
Yeah, I can have sleep at that night.
Yeah. I have to have it before 2. Di ba? I come and teach at
Yes.
2:30. So
You
that
have your coffee before.
and no more in the evening. How about you, Jap?
Ako po, because I love coffee before, even at night po, I drink coffee. Usually po, for example, we have papers to do. I usually stay po in a coffee shop. I drink coffee until like 12, 1.
And then you go home and
Then
you
I
can
go
sleep
home
pa?
po and I will sleep na lang po at home.
You can sleep.
But you
I
can
can
still
sleep pa
sleep
po.
pa?
But I stopped na, parang po kasi wala nang effect sa akin yung caffeine.
Oo.
Kaya po, but I stopped it na po when I had acid reflux. So now, what I'm drinking is chocolate na po.
What you have there is actually siguro may ulcer na. Too much,
Maybe.
because you eat dinner at 10
Yes,
something.
10.
It's
Kaya,
really bad.
Usually po may stomach aches po. at night.
That is to look for.
Kaya po I stop na po coffee as advised by the doctor.
Yeah, not too much coffee. How about you? Do you drink coffee?
I don't, ma'am.
At all?
Talaga?
Kasi well, because also of health reasons, I get acidic too quickly.
Acidic?
Yes.
Yan, good, Organic ba yun?
Lesson
Lifestyle
from
niya.
experience.
And
Less
people who have sleep disorders, yung apnea,
yeah.
yung ganyan, too cold, all kinds of sensitivity, leg restlessness syndrome. They're moving their legs too much and so on. And then for the older ones, insomnia. These are very common. If you have good sleep, yeah, it's a blessing.
Yes. It's a luxury.
It's a
actually.
luxury. It's a luxury.
Yes.
Not only for survival, but you're enjoying the day tomorrow because you have enough sleep. No? Now, what does sleep do for learning? Yeah. We think that sleep is just for our health and so on, but it has so much to do with studying and learning too, no? Because whatever you study on that day, during sleep, it consolidates, no? What you had learned that day. And the day's event are consolidated while you are sleeping. Imagine that. So if you don't have enough sleep, you forgot things because it's not consolidated to the long-term memory, right? And lack of sleep will hurt all this following: attention, executive function, working memory, mood, quantitative skills. That's why I'm poor in math. Logical reasoning and even motor dexterity. Yeah, you have to do something like machine, di ba? If you're a machine operator, you cannot have a lack of sleep, no? Teachers work very hard,
Yes.
but because they work so hard, they lack sleep.
Yes.
And the next day, they are not as effective.
Correct.
And impatient na game, di ba? We get very impatient. Sometimes we're ashamed of our conduct, no? If you're losing temper and does it also show in your children?
Yeah, I
your
think
students?
I was about to say that I experienced the same thing. For example, with children. Parents would usually come in and say, "Teacher, kulang pa siya ng tulog." Kaya baka ganito yung maging behavior niya or ganito yung experience
But you
niya.
have beds pa there in the
We have
preschool?
reading area wherein they can rest, and we have pillows so we have
you
rest
have
area,
pillows,
rest time in our routine. So it's incorporated in the day-to-day activity, but so that the children can go inside and then they can sleep in the reading area for that time.
So incorporated, how long is the sleep hour?
In our
schedule?
class, usually Dr. Gu, it's not usually sleeping, but more of trying to relax and rest. So it's called rest time. So children can rest for about 20 minutes. That's the longest, and then sometimes it also gives them the chance to think about things, reflect. So I think it's a good
it's a quiet
practice.
place.
It's a quiet, yes, and a quiet time.
Because I used to work in Hong Kong as a consultant, and this school, very famous school, actually had a cots for children. It's incorporated na in their curriculum that day. They have to
They can
sleep.
rest.
Mga from 1 to 2. So if you pick in, there are all these kids sleeping.
It's very important.
It's very dark. But you need a large space kasi.
Yeah.
That is So how about your clients or your patients? Do you sometimes feel that they are not working too much effectively in your therapy because they lack sleep?
Yes, ma'am. Same experience with Erickson's. There were days, especially when you know them to be doing really well in these kinds of activities, and then one day they would come and they were very inattentive. They fidget on their seat.
Fidget a lot.
So you would adjust your activity
It shows it.
to make them more engaged in what you're supposed to do. And then when you come out after the session, the mother would say, "Well, we had class the whole morning, just had lunch, and so she didn't get enough sleep. We had to go to
That's
therapy
why.
right away."
That's right. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So you don't give them coffee naman, the children.
Coffee candies.
Coffee candies.
By the way, it's not only coffee that has caffeine, di ba?
yeah.
Oo, yung chocolate, yung cocoa, all these have caffeine din. Tea, less quantity pero may caffeine din. Oo. Yung cake, sometimes what they call this coffee cake, may
Cappuccino.
Milk
cappuccino.
tea, mga ganun.
Milk tea
tea.
lalo.
Especially for students.
So, yeah. Okay, so there are other effects of sleep deprivation. Look at that. As adults naman tayo, yeah? What are the effects of sleep deprivation or sleep debt? We have debt. Oh. May utang, sleep debt. Oh. How big na is your debt?
Naku po, parang baon na baon na.
You'll pay for it.
But can we pay for it po?
Actually, you can catch up, but not fully. You cannot pay it back na, di ba?
So it's wasted
For
time
example po, I
already.
sleep 3 hours at night. Then in the afternoon, I will catch up. Is that possible?
It's possible if it is immediately, di ba? The next day. Because sometimes you know that your work will end naman early, like 2 or 3, and then you can catch up a bit. But when you catch up, it will affect naman your evening sleep. So when you take a nap, it should not be longer than 1 hour. In fact, it should be just 20
nap.
minutes, ganyan.
Power.
Kasi it
Power
will
nap.
it will affect the next night naman.
Actually.
Sleep is you have to schedule it. Kasi we think sleep is ano ba yon? Optional.
And adjustable and flexible, no?
So you have to make time for sleep. Like reading, you have to make time for reading, make time for thinking, make time for sleeping, and all of this will take time. So the social media is affecting our lives, mess up many of our important activities talaga. So why? Because it will prevent the body from strengthening the immune system. Low immune. Diba? Low immunity. Many people, because they lack sleep so habitually. Mabilis masakit, makasakit, no? And then it increases risk of respiratory diseases, coughing, ganyan, pneumonia, asthma, all this. And then it affects the body weight. In what way? No, it actually increases your body weight because you will eat a lot.
To keep
Diba?
you awake.
When you are sleepy, diba, you start to compensate by eating so much. So naging and we eat all kinds of junk food. We are not selective in our food na. And then this one is higher risk of type 2 diabetes. These days, a lot of people have diabetes. It's so prevalent in the Philippines. Itong type 2, it's not born. It's acquired diabetes. And then increased risk of cardiovascular diseases. Ang daming heart problems, heart attack, stroke, yung ganyan, no? And then affects the hormone production, including even the growth hormone. So children, lalo, when they're growing up, need a full 8 hours of sleep. Otherwise, they won't get tall, enough build, no? So, do you see this already happening in your own life or your or your colleagues or your relatives? Why is lack of sleep so common? No, almost nobody. I checked with the faculty who had 8 hours of sleep. Nobody. Usually it's between 6 to 7. They only had that. That is the good one.
Good night. That's a good
night. Less pa, 4.
Yeah.
Ikaw 4 to 5.
5. I need to change.
You need to change.
Pero po usually that happens na po from Wednesdays to Fridays. But on Mondays and Tuesdays, usually 6 to 7 earlier.
Pag weekend ba, mas marami?
Yes po, pag weekend. Especially pag Friday night, so I will not set my alarm na until, So Friday night is like a luxury night for me.
Not setting alarm is such a luxury.
Yes! Like parang,
And you just wake up when you
lie,
feel
It's a privilege.
kung nakahiga ka na, you will say, oh my gosh, I'm not setting the alarm tonight.
It's a feeling that you own your time.
You own
Tapos
your time.
you will remind pa your family members, please don't wake me up.
Tulog pa ako.
Kumain na kayo ng almusal without
Don't knock the
me.
door. Don't correct, yeah. yung hanggang your own natural rhythm. Yeah,
Yes.
oo. Yeah, I like that feeling. Even the night before when you don't have to set the alarm clock,
Yes.
it's already very nice, no?
Paggising mo, good mood na good mood. Parang good morning!
Sarap no?
Those should be the days when you go to teach children.
Actually,
Oo,
Full
parang
energy.
good mood pa, di ba? Oo. And you see, now that you are younger, but when you reach middle age pa, this will start to show up. Ganyan. Oo. So you have to change, like 6 hours of social media, internet, that is too much because that's more than, you have a full load of teaching na. That's another part-time
work.
job.
Part-time job.
Part-time job just doing the internet. Yeah? Oo. And recently, there's a TED Talk, and the title of that TED Talk actually is One More Reason to Get a Good Night's Sleep. Huh?
Nice.
Because sleep will clear up the build-up of amyloid beta, we already learned this, which causes Alzheimer's diseases. So every night, it's like clearing the
Refresh.
garbage. All these plaques. All this amyloid beta that is forming in your brain, which in the future will cause Alzheimer's disease. That's why every night when you sleep, it's like the car is going to the car wash. Car
Cleaning
wash
it
muna. Oo. And sleep actually is very basic to our needs. It fuels our energy, builds nutrients, and it clears the waste. No? So what do you think should be some changes in your life so that you will have enough sleep? No, Erickson first.
I tried, I deleted the app of Facebook already. So I have a profile, but I deleted the app so that I won't constantly check it at
correct.
night.
Yeah.
And then I tried to...
So you only check na lang once
during
When you have the laptop na.
Yes, laptop, not with my phone.
that's a good
And
idea.
then, so that I won't constantly check it. And then I try to move my phone away so that I cannot use it at night.
Yeah.
So because I read an article before that the light causes sleep deprivation. So
Correct,
I tried,
yeah. If you-
especially if everything is dark, and that's the only thing that keeps up.
That's right, yeah. And then in middle of the night, you want to go to the toilet and you check first, and then there's
What time
something
is
that
it?
bothers you, and then it affects to go back to sleep. No?
Yes.
Oo. How about you, Jap? How would you teach children? Because even children are lacking in sleep.
Sometimes.
What do you think are some ways that you will encourage them to have enough sleep?
Of course, because kids love to play, right? Parang in exchange of sleep, they play.
Yeah.
So I will teach them to prioritize also. Their parang to make schedule, di ba po? It's parang it's part of the curriculum din naman na we have to teach them to make their own schedule. Like this time, this is play time, this is
okay.
sleeping time. So at this time, tsaka po I always tell my class to limit their TV watching because sometimes they go beyond like 10 p.m. When I ask them, why are you late today? Because sir, I watch TV. Also, I will tell them po to limit their TV viewing, and I will also ask their parents po to monitor.
That's true. You have to use the help of the parents.
Yes.
Parang may curfew.
Yes.
When to go to sleep na. It will help them. So maybe even in schools we have to. I have been doing that in some schools to just tell the parents how important sleep is.
Yeah.
And if parents are not good models for their children, di ba?
Modeling
They only
is
sleep in a 2 na or 3 ganyan and so on. The children will not pick that good habit, di ba?
Actually.
Oo. That's why even in your case, because you deal with parents a lot din, di ba? With your clients or patients, no? So do you teach them about the importance of sleep then?
Actually, the parents are very mindful because
Yeah.
they really see the difference with their children. Kasi
they-
I will be, even if they would send their children to us, and then when we come out and talk to them, their expectations would really be met. Na, Mommy, your child didn't do well today. And then say, yeah, I thought so because she didn't get
Good
to
sleep.
sleep. Yeah. So they're also very mindful.
They're receptive to your
yes.
advice, no?
Actually.
Opo. So, if the schedules allow, we can shift to which hours or would be more agreeable to the schedules of the child. Yes.
So we have to say no to certain things sometimes.
Yes.
Yeah? If this thing will cost me 5 hours just going to the traffic and then back to the traffic. Sometimes because I have a social activity, di ba? Social event. Going to Makati and coming back and just have this reception, the whole thing would take 5 to 6 hours.
Yeah.
I'm not going to waste my life on just one event. So we have to count. We should be good in math, no? Counting.
Quantitative.
Counting our hours because that's 6 hours of your life.
Yeah.
Life is made up of those hours.
Yeah.
And that's why we have to be good managers of time. Diba? So, in fact, I was I was one of those that really advocates for good sleep. For several years now, I talk about sleep
Even
with
in our classes,
parents.
I remember.
I remember
Sleep
that.
hygiene is important.
Oo. Yeah, kasi you cannot see yet the effects. But in the future, it will
It
show.
might.
We can only see symptoms.
Yeah.
Restlessness, fidgety, cranky,
Yes.
grouchy, and so on. But what is happening inside, we don't know. And it will cause so much ulcer, yung ganyan,
Yeah.
stress, and all these other psychological problems as well. So sleep well, ha? Good sleep, ha?
I
Put
will.
some lavender. Ano bang mga tips na for good sleep?
Ako,
I
milk talaga.
Milk?
Yes,
You
at
take
night.
a milk?
Before I go to bed po, I drink milk.
That's true. Milk will induce a good sleep. That's why children, di ba, in the middle
Yeah.
of just taking the milk, what else?
Ako,
What is
for
your good-
parents, I usually tell the parents to build a routine. Like for example, you can read a story to them.
That's right,
And
yeah.
then afterwards, it's a good interactive time for them as well. So that it's time for them to rest and think about what
That's
happened
true.
to the day.
Dapat may sleep ritual.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
A good hot bath is good for me. Yung ritual ko. It will make you sleepy talaga when you have a hot bath na.
Oh, yeah.
How about you?
Relaxing. What I was told was to parang avoid na or stop na any mind activity. So even reading sometimes, they would say na an hour before you go to bed, no activity na at all. No TV, no reading.
And not too much
Just
physical
preparing.
exertion.
Yeah.
Hindi pwedeng gym
Yes.
1 hour
Or
before
before.
sleep.
Sleeping,
Oo.
opo.
Yeah.
So, when you go to bed, your body and your mind would really be prepared na. It's time to rest.
And if you have certain concerns or worries, I would tell myself, tomorrow. This is for tomorrow na. Tomorrow's concerns. Today, I'm done na with
today.
each day has its own worries.
Worries.
Actually.
Ganyan. Para you have a good night's sleep, ha? If you have so that's a good wish for everyone.
Actually.
Some people cannot have the gift of sleep. No, there are many sleep disorder clinics these days. Oo, talaga. Oo, in St.
They put
Louis, in
machines,
Makati, and so on.
For the brain activity.
Yeah. So, even in the Bible, there's a verse I remember so well. Everything is permissible, but not everything is beneficial. Oo. Social media, okay, you want a permissible, but is it beneficial? Yeah, you're doing a lot of stressful work, permissible, but is it beneficial? So we have to think of both things, permissible and beneficial. Yeah, so everything is permissible, but not everything is beneficial, from 1 Corinthians. Thank you for watching Sunnybrook Smart Learning. This has been Dr. Grace Koo. See you again next time.